Who rules the world? You, me, the next person, and who would it be? Lady Lagarde, or Metamark, or some grey cardinal with invisible force moving boxes when you don't look, or military convoy transporting minerals from sub-Saharan factory. Eritrea and Ethiopia as your droids and wookies in our media coverage. Far from Europe. On behalf of the rebellion, every day I consume post-truth microplastic from independent and unbiased papers. And hysteria. Feel you. Myself a drama queen, positive vibes, regeneration frequencies. Let's write deep. As Swiss research goes, teens in developing countries are very optimistic on climate agenda. In contrast with Gen Z in rich states. Why is that? Any ideas? Freedom of speech problems and poor education, or what choice do we have? And who the choice is making? Recent COP27 had a great achievement agreement that someone will dollar the party. Yo, but no shame for chateau and yacht and jet and NFT and tennis courts, golf clubs, board seats, fashion shows, olive gardens, parking spots, sporting bets, market turns. Alright then, keep your secrets. But coffee beans I enjoy from walking under the table ages. Enjoy twice a day or more. Sorry calcium bones and white teeth. Maybe crispr-gmo plant will thrive in harsh weather conditions. And Deus Ex Machina will dream of electric ship. Or maybe we will do prevention-mitigation, self-regulation and clean energy with affordability-sustainability and not inequality rise up higher and higher and not war on climate. Not like before. War on terror, Cold War, war on drugs, World Wars II, I, industrialization, colonization, reformation, crusades and vikings, carthago, delenda, and this is Sparta. And maybe civilization starts at Ishtar gate, wet and tight, and our homeland caves in Africa, safe space, but both places now constant cost of living crisis. Before the internet, I thought like Egyptian pyramids are the top of 7 wonders and mask of Tutankhamen wanted, but being me, being raised in freedom, so questions were asked. What the fuck? Where are the dinosaurs and dragons? Wanna know? Why United States have high-tech skyscrapers and United Kingdom dark fantasy castles? What have you done for the revolution? By my national birth certificate I am Russian. But by blood, also Jew and Zakarpattia, Ukraine. By culture, Northwest tradition. And my body, juicy meat and immortal soul. So, with identity relations, why so serious? Who gives a fuck? I don't know. But okay, probably a tourist, a capitalist, a Logan vegan person with responsibilities, self-respect and all of that. One planet, many states, and all sole sovereign. A Lannister always pays his debts and sings the reigns of customary on occasion. But positions are different. Historical, territorial, economical, of control, and moral. We are the good guys, yeah? Not an oppressors, not at all. And you are right? One of us, our tribe, our congregation, our common sense and power structure, our property rights and public goods, social security and civil protest. What an ego trip to play this game. Niccolo Machiavelli is writing The Prince, 5 centuries of progress and Thomas Piketty writing Capital in the 21st. What a grandiose journey from feudalism of Middle Ages to the middle class, inclusive institutions, global liberals and YouTube videos. But not for everybody. Hannibal, Spartacus, Jesus and El Dorado not to be found, a Libyan oil war and Snowden on the run, Assange in jail and Jamal Khashoggi assassinated. And now, Slavs lives matter, Russian-Ukrainian war, peaceful people die, millions flee, tens lost a lot. Hundreds, stressed, and global turmoil. But politicians are only raising stakes, escalating, and soldiers, if not propaganda victims, what a choice to make. Dig trenches and fight, or go to prison, a torture camp. And nuclear reactors are back in the menu, and coal plants too. And financial stonks, not yet margin calls, but boring, moving forward. Either you run or you fall behind. Sunny Valley or why the fuck? There are no zero prospect democratic nations outside of North Atlantic umbrella, and traffic is unstoppable of value, talent, magic. So, without guidance and direction, children left behind, what roads have been paved, what incentives you have, and means to accomplish. And you act not in emptiness, but in reaction to challenges. Real or imagined, policy goes hand in hand with politics. And what would you do? Make great again, build back better, print money, increase spending, cut taxes, hike rates, And the story goes, for every look there is a season, and reasonable circumstances to express your ideology, nihilism and hedonism. I want more, and more, and more. You know, Protestant culture in migrant boats, rule of law in cartel land, worker protection in Islamic desert, corruption compliance in wildlife, Panama Papers, Paradise Papers, Pandora Papers, Red Scr in succession. Speaking of empires, Peter the Great, Catherine the Same, Kropotkin, Kandinsky, Tchaikovsky, People's Will, December's Wives, Philosopher's Ships, and Stalingrad, Norilsk and Magadan, place of my birth, and in dates when Berlin Wall, Iron Curtain, Soviet Union, gone. A lot of people gain a lot of freedom, without great bloodshed, but with some supply chain disruptions. Shock therapy, and have-nots fill the street. All industries for sale. How to become billionaire fast. The Godfather and Tony Montana. Chechen War 1-2. KGB agent ascends the throne. High oil prices. Rigged elections. Magnitsky, Khodorkovsky, Berezovsky, Politkovskaya, Litvinenko, Londongrad. Bombing of Belgrade. Enlargement of EU, NATO. Munich speech. Press crash. Propaganda rise. Protest crash. Police rise. LGBTQ crash. Xenophobia rise. Narco crash. Corruption rise. Belarusian satellite state. Ukrainian buffer state. No more. Crimea annexation. Ratings up. Malaysian Boeing. 298 fatalities. And body of Nemtsov on the bridge. Syrian civil war. Constitution scrapped. Navalny. Poisoning and imprisonment. And all of those years, forums and summits, gas pipelines and business as usual. And now Bucha massacre. I sheltered Ukraine refugee and hid Russo conscript. And fuckers do not negotiate with terrorists. And common folk continue to suffer. And such destruction. You know, the war was no surprise. If not by geopolitical rhetoric, dynamics, and governance track records, so by stockpiling ammunition and blah 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 in Minsk agreements. By the end of 2021, 2 months prior to the invasion, headlines were full of warnings. For the future, who knows? Black swans and fat tails, history does not repeat itself exactly. Will Putin take Kiev, Corsica and Sicily, nuke Nuremberg, New Zealand and New York, and Global South will live like Global North? Or diplomatic solutions, demilitarized zone and economic isolation, degradation and collapse. There will be new different Russias. Novgorod Republic, Moscovia, Caucasia, Uralia, Siberia. Will Ukraine restore its borders and coup d'etat in Kremlin, popular uprising at Red Square, and bounce back with reparation, democratization, liberalization, Western integration and return migration to restore and rebuild, like Israel, and not like Iraq, Iran, Venezuela, North Korea, Somalia, or maybe second Marshall Plan for Eastern Europe. And for the whole world, why not? Reform the game, United People Planet State, and non-stop internet direct referendums about everything, enforced by hive mind on the cozy horse. Or maybe glaciers will epic flood us back into caves. That was hard to make, but I tried to stay funny. Anyhow, we are the people, and we make the reality by our agency and vision. Tra-ta-ta-ta-ta, we rule the world. Love you, bitches. Who rules the world? Lady Lagarde or Metamark? Eritrea and Ethiopia, as your droids and wookies. But no shame for chateau, and yacht, and jet, and FT, tennis courts, golf clubs, board seats. Enjoy twice a day, or more. Sorry kites on bones. Prevention-mitigation, self-regulation with affordability-sustainability. Not like before. War on terror, Cold War, war on drugs, world wars. 2-1 industrialization, colonization, reformation, crusades and vikings, and mask of Tutankhamen wanted. What have you done for the revolution? And by blood also a Jew and the Carpathia Ukraine, with responsibilities, self-respect and all of that. We are the good guys, not an oppressors, not at all. And you are right? One of us. Niccolo Machiavelli is writing The Prince, 5 Centuries of Progress, and Thomas Piketty writing Capital in 21st. What a grandiose journey. Global liberals and YouTube videos. But not for everybody. Slavs lives matter. Russo-Ukrainian war. Peaceful people die. Millions flee. Are only raising stakes. Escalating. And soldiers, if not propaganda victims, what a choice to make. 0 prosperous democratic nations outside of North Atlantic umbrella, and traffic is unstoppable. But in reaction to challenges, real imagined, what would you do? Make great again? Build back better? Panama Papers, Paradise Papers, Pandora Papers. Speaking of empires, Peter the Great, Catherine the Same, Kropotkin, Kandinsky, Tchaikovsky, People's Will, Decemberist Wives, Philosopher's Ships, and Stalingrad, Norilsk and Magadan, place of my birth, and without great bloodshed, but with some supply chain disruptions, shock therapy, and have-nots fill the streets. Magnitsky, Khodorkovsky, Berezovsky, press crash, propaganda rise, protest crash, police rise, Ukrainian buffer state, no more, Crimea annexation, ratings up, and body of Nemtsov on the bridge, Syrian civil war, constitution scrapped, Navalny, poisoning, and imprisonment. And all those years, forums and summits, gas pipelines, and business as usual. And now, Bucha massacre, and fuckers, do not negotiate with terrorista, diplomatic solutions, demilitarized zone, and economic isolation, degradation, and collapse, and there will be new different Russias, Novgorod Republic, Moscovia, Caucasia, Uralia, Siberia. Or will Ukraine restore its borders, and coup d'etat in Kremlin, or popular uprising at Red Square, bounce back with reparation, democratization, liberalization, Western integration, and not Iraq, Iran, Venezuela, North Korea, Somalia, or maybe second Marshall Plan for Eastern Europe, United People Planet States, non-stop electronic direct referendums about everything, enforced by hive mind on the cozy horse. And we make the reality by our agency and vision. Love you, bitches. Colin Machiavelli is writing The Prince, 5 Centuries of Progress, and Thomas Piketty writing Capital in 21st. What a choice to make. Dig trenches and fight, or go to prison a torture camp. Zero prosperous democratic nations outside of North Atlantic umbrella, and traffic is unstoppable. We rule the world, love you, bitches.